Do you all remember the lady that was on here that was crying in her car because she did not want to be married anymore? She didn't like the fact that she had to deal with the same person every single day. She was just like talking a lot about how she was miserable in her marriage. She didn't want to be married anymore. Okay, I know that everybody remembers this woman, or most people are going to remember this woman. Well, she's gotten on here again, and she said that her and her husband had decided before that they got married that they didn't want to have kids. So she had made the decision that she wanted to get a hysterectomy. They went to the doctor. She talked to the doctor about the hysterectomy so that she wouldn't have kids, and that the doctor had asked her husband for his permission. The husband said no. So she couldn't get her surgery because her husband said no. I wanted to get on here real quick to debunk this story because I don't want this false narrative getting out in the public and women believing that they don't have a choice about their own bodies. So here we go. I decided I was going to get on Google. I was going to do some research. I went down a rabbit hole of the rules and regulations for this medical procedure, and this is the stuff that I came up with. So you all can do the same thing if you want to. If you want to fact check me, you can, research it anytime you want to. But this is what it said. First of all, a person would not get a hysterectomy just to not have kids, okay? Because it is a big surgery. They are taking something out of you. They're taking an organ out of you. And why would you have a major surgery like that unless you had to, unless there was something else wrong, okay? You wouldn't. You would go in and you would do something else like have your tubes tied or whatever other permanent birth control you wanted to use, but it would be a tubal ligation most of the time, which is a lot less invasive. It's still invasive, but not nearly as big of a surgery. So I didn't believe her on that account because why would you do something so radical unless something else was wrong? She wasn't saying there was anything else wrong. So there's that. And I also looked up, I thought maybe she meant a tubal ligation. So I looked up both. Does a person need their spousal's consent for either a tubal ligation or for a hysterectomy? And the answer was no. You don't have to have spousal consent. At least in the US, you don't have to have spousal consent. I didn't research for everywhere in the whole entire world, but in the US, you do not need to have spousal consent. That was something that was going on decades upon decades ago. Okay, that was a thing way back when. It's not anymore. And I also, just for, just to look, I also looked and saw if spousal consent was needed for a vasectomy for a man because I was going to do both. And it also said no, there doesn't need to be spousal consent for a man to have a vasectomy because of HIPAA privacy and the fact that people have bodily autonomy, which means that you can make your own healthcare decisions for your own body. That's the truth of the matter. I don't know why she's going around saying this because it's just so much misinformation with what she's saying. I don't want women to believe that they have to have their spouse along with them to give consent for them to have a procedure that they want to have done. Okay. And if this does happen to you, which I don't know, it said there's some doctors that still would like to have spousal consent. However, if a doctor says this to you, go to a different doctor, go to a different clinic, go to somebody else. Keep going until you can get what you need for your body. But this is not a legal thing. Legally, you do not need spousal consent. And I just wanted to get that out there real quick so people understand this isn't a thing. Okay. Take care of your bodies. Take care of you. Do what you need for yourself. Love you guys. Bye.